We're standing inside of the exhibition Psychosphere, which is a new artwork that I've been working on for the past 5 years. It's an artwork where we're diving into the depths, into deep sea volcanic landscapes, where it's theorized that life began from actually non-organic material through volcanic processes to DNA. But it's also an exhibition where we dive deep into our psyche, into processes within us, in our psychological worlds, in our emotions, and how these are connected to very deep evolutionary timelines, millions of years in the making, and how our movement in the world as humans, when we move through it, it's also moving through us. And as we go back in time through depths, we also go on an inner psychological journey. All my artworks are very collaborative. I create worlds that I invite other people to enter to create art within. And on this artwork, I worked together with the musical composer Lou O'Neill. We worked together several times before. Andrea Familiari, a lighting designer, as well as Bjarke Mogensen, a Danish accordionist. And the last collaborator is Esben Horn from 10 Tons. It's a company that normally creates natural history replica specimens. And we work together on the sculptures. The title of the exhibition, Psychosphere, is based on a very close collaboration with the author and philosopher Melanie Challenger, who's writing a book right now exploring other concepts of intelligence. So instead of talking about language of intelligence, you think about psyche. And what's very inspiring for me working with her is that the story of thinking about what brings psyche and agency in species starts in the deep sea. Because in the deep sea, the theory is that it's energy and chemical processes that under high pressure creates DNA as rock gets dissolved from gases from the interior of the planet. And this is at 4 to 6 kilometers depths. So this means that if you look at life in this way, it's movement, it's energy and vibration that gives us a sense of purpose or this feeling of drive in the world, rather than a sense of language or intelligence. So with the exhibition, I really tried to dive into that as much as I can. So it's a feeling of transformation of something material to immaterial, from light to image to sound, and back again. And it's more about emotion and energy and movement than, let's say, language and intelligence. It's very special for me to exhibit here in Cisternerne. First of all, I've actually seen most of the exhibitions here and been fascinated by the space. But there's something special about going underground and then building out another world. And this is something I've done virtually in all my artworks, but it's the first time I really get the opportunity to work subterranean. It feels very natural for me to make an artwork about the origin of psyche and life in the deep sea in what was previously a water reservoir. It's also very unique to work with the echo in here, the 17 seconds, and really work with all corners of the space of sounds and music that moves around your body. You hear it from far away, you hear it close. And the other thing, of course, is to work with water and work with a total mirror reflection. So what you see in the light and images, you have a parallel world beneath. And this is inspired by when I was diving. There's a cave, and as you breathe your bubbles out, they go in the ceiling of the cave, and the bubbles get stuck in the ceiling and creates a mirror. So when you go diving in a cave and you look up, you have a mirror of the world looking down. And so in here, we have the projections and world in front of you, and as you look down, you kind of look up. So it's also evoking different sensory memories I have of these volcanic landscapes that I've been filming for the past 5 years. In the sea, the deeper you go, the slower metabolism is, and the slower evolution happens, but it's also more durable. So when you go to the deep sea today, you might see a species that's evolutionary millions of years ago, but it will also be here in millions of years. It's very resilient. So in the exhibition, as you go through the different chambers, there's a change of tempo. So in the first room where there's glass and music, things that have a lot of friction, they're fairly warm and fast. And then in the second chamber, surrounded by these video screens, it's a little more chaotic, and there's a lot of things happening around you. It's a little less tempo. And then in the third chamber, things completely slow down, becomes extremely slow, but also more alien, more like robust and strong. So that's an interesting play between depths and evolutionary time and the cadence of life and how it works. When I created the artwork, I also got in touch with an organization called TBA21 that works with cultural literacy around the deep sea. And they invited me on a ship together with deep sea activists, lawyers, and geologists, and I was an artist on the ship, where there's a group of people that wants to change the laws of the deep sea. Because just as fast as the deep sea floor is being mapped, just as fast people also want to destroy it and mine it. So there's kind of a race going on right now where some people wants to change the law in the deep sea so it can be mined, and others who wants to protect it. So this artwork is also later going to the UN Ocean Conference, where it will be presented as part of a program to change the law of the deep sea from the common heritage of all of mankind to the common heritage of all species, which means that the deep sea belongs to every living entity, and therefore it has to be protected because it's the cradle of life on our planet.